the fewer they remain, the more the system survives. Now, you are all being prepared to go and work for 6 rich males or families. All of them have got houses in Stellenbosch. Oh. So the economy of South Africa is owned and controlled by white males. All of them reside in Stellenbosch. I don't care whether you want to be an engineer, whether you want to be a CA, and all of you are being prepared to go and work for these 6 families. They own everything significant in this country. They own the banks, they own the mines, they own monopoly industries, they've got the majority of a productive land in their possession. So all of you are being prepared to work for them. Or if there is any institution you think of and you want to work for it, those institutions, if they've survived and they are big, it is through the approval of these individuals. Nothing happens, not even in the state, without the approval of these individuals. They control what we think, because they control even institutions of high level. That's why they spend most of the time emphasizing institutional autonomy, because it is through that institutional autonomy that they are able to influence the content of what is taught here without state interference. Oh. So, when, of course, in an environment where you've got crooks presiding over the state, you get to be tempted to agree with them. Institutional autonomy, can you imagine blade influencing curriculum? It will be a problem. We want institutional autonomy, yeah. Because we are scared. We are caught up between a rock and a hard place. You've got carpet, white carpet here, influencing the curriculum, which perpetuate white supremacy and black inferiority, indignity of black people. And then you've got a state here driven by crooks who have no idea what needs to happen tomorrow. And therefore, if you give a responsibility of curriculum development to these ones, will even be more lost, because they themselves do not know where we're going. So, and I think situation is where we'll have a capable state which will be able to influence a curriculum which will make black people to love themselves. Because the curriculum teaches you to self-hate. That's why you want to speak like them. Like them because you're suffering from self-hate. When I say program in front of my child, he immediately corrects. Oh, Dad, program. But he knows what I'm talking about. They teach you self-hate to a point that you think you're not speaking properly. Because that which is pronounced by you is inferior, is unacceptable, it's not of international standard, because it's of a black person. That's what them. They make you to do everything like them because they teach you to perpetuate black self-hate. Many of you think that, you know, to befriend them is a status in society. We have taken so many pictures with you. You never put them on Instagram. But the day you take a picture with them, that's the first thing you can't wait. You want to put on Instagram for all to see that you have made progress. You have made progress. It can't be correct. It can't be correct. Now, it is capitalism that continues to enslave the mind of the working class because we must continue to be submissive to capitalism. Now, the emergence of the EFF seeks to liberate the mind. That's what economic freedom means. The liberation of the mind. But the mind will never be liberated if you do not own the means of production. Because remember, the ruling ideas are the ideas of a ruling class. Yes. And the ruling class are those who own the means of production. Yes. Now, we ought to change the patterns of ownership to reflect democratic dispensation. 21 years into democracy, patterns of ownership in South Africa are still the same as they were during colonial times. You must go and check who owned the land during Cecil John Rhodes' time and who owns the land now. Same people. But you go around saying to people, we must celebrate Freedom Day. Hey, why must we celebrate the Freedom Day? I'm in the university now, Nelson Mandela University. If it was not of a freedom, I was not going to be here. And you think you've made a powerful point. You're weak. That's a weak point. You think you have arrived because now you are in an university with people who look different. And you think that's what we have strived for you to come and go into a university with white people. That is a, by the way, it's not at the center of our struggle. At the center of our struggle is the ownership of the means of production. Now, for as long as we do not own, there's nothing to celebrate. This place here, if you are from very far, like Popo and all that, you must celebrate the fact that you happen to be in a place where wars of resistance were fought. Yes, Eastern Cape, yes. When they were fighting against the British, they were not fighting to vote. It was never at the center of black genocide voting. At the center of that black genocide was resisting with the land. Forceful taking of the land, black people refusing with the land. They were killed for it. So now you have a right to vote. You think we have arrived. We have never fought to vote. The wars of dispossession were about the ownership of the land, not about voting. Voting is by the way. Voting was never part of what we initially demanded because our communities were organized in a manner that they were satisfied. They will choose one family to preside over their affairs through bloodline and all those types. They were never preoccupied with those things. They wanted their land. They formed the ANC because they were defeated during the wars of dispossession, because they were fighting as small tribal groups. Then they said, no, it looks like they're defeating us because we're fighting as small groups. Let's all unite under one progressive umbrella. Maybe we will defeat them if we start fighting them as a united big group. That's how the ANC was formed. All those small wars of dispossession coming together, stopping the fight through tribalistic arrangement into a progressive arrangement. They were never part of what they demanded in 1912 was not to vote. Part of sending delegation to Britain was not to vote. They demanded the land. The inclusion into government came later with those things of formation of union, which excluded black people. That's when they began to now realize, hey, there is a different arrangement here, which we have to participate in. Perhaps if we are inside, we may stand a good chance of getting what was taken from us. But initially, they wanted what belongs to them and retreat into their territories because that's what was taken from them. That's what constituted struggle in South Africa, which was a good thing because now we're fighting over positions. Who must be president? Who must be minister? We forgot the real struggle of our people. The land question. No one can have his or her mind liberated for as long as that person doesn't own. That's why during negotiations, part of what white people proposed, the leadership of white people proposed was that, okay, you want black people to vote. We may consider black people voting only those who have gone to school and who have property. Because they knew that a person who owns his mind or her mind is liberated. So ownership is at the center of the liberation of the mind. But how do you liberate the mind? You are in that process of liberating the mind. That's why you are here. At the center of this economic freedom is the liberation of the mind, and therefore quality education should be availed in order to sustain economic freedom. You are the liberators of our people. You ought to understand that your education is aiming at liberating the black majority. It's not yours. Don't be selfish. Don't allow their junk to make you think as an individual. You must think as one of those who belong to the oppressed. And therefore you are going to use your education to liberate society. Why would the lawyers like O.R. and Mandela abandon their career? They were doing well. Mandela was a fashionable lawyer. Everybody wanted to be represented by Madiba, the tall man. Now, why would he leave his law firm and go into the struggle to liberate the people? He knew that his education should be used to liberate the mind. Steve Biko did the same. Yes. Robert Sukuka did the same. You are here to accumulate knowledge and use that knowledge to liberate.